Hello, everybody. It's Gareth here again from Paris Technologies with another Rugby World Cup Predictor. We are in the final week of the Rugby World Cup 2023, and what a great tournament it's been. And let's have a look at the results of the last weekend. All right, so there was two semi-finals. New Zealand played Argentina, and New Zealand won comfortably. England played South Africa, and South Africa won by 1 point in a kind of a comeback win. A really great game of attritional rugby, potentially not that much fun to watch if you are new to the sport, but definitely kept all their supporters on the edge of the seat to the last minute. So that means that we have this New Zealand-South Africa final, and that's a mouth-watering final. These are the top two teams in the world currently ranked anyway, and they've got the best Rugby World Cup pedigree. Both of these teams have won the Rugby World Cup 3 times. And so whoever wins on this weekend is going to be a new record. All right. So we've been looking at predicting this result for around 4 months. And we've got 26 different predictions. And I thought, let's take a little bit of a look back now and see like how many of these predictions were accurate or fairly accurate. So the first thing is, let's look at predictions that got either one of these teams in the final. So they've got some kind of accuracy, and we're looking for these round blue circles. And if we roll down, you'll see that quite a lot of these predictions got at least one of these teams in the final. So actually, what's more interesting is that these orange circles, because they're in the minority. So let's just quickly just have a look at why did people get it so wrong. Northern dominance got it wrong. Okay, the early form where the North was strong got it wrong. And then you'll see a group of circles here in the all together, and these were all done during the pool stages. So you sort of Scotland the Brilliant, the world's upside down, Northern dominance. All of them predicted a strong Northern Hemisphere and a strong Northern Hemisphere in the quarterfinals, and that turned out to be wrong. Actually, what happened was you got this type of thing where the North dominated the pool stages, but then there was a Southern fight back in the quarterfinals and then in the semifinals. And that was the big theme. So let's now look at the second column, which is who got both of these teams in the final. So amazingly, the very first version or the very first forecast that we created 4 months ago actually got these two teams in the final. So that's the statistically was pretty tough to do, and so that's quite interesting, and we should have a look at that. If we go a little bit further down, we find this one, All Roads Lead to Romefontein by Greg Friend. He predicted this final, and we've got the Southern Fight Back, which predicted this final, and of course, finally, the one that we penned last week, which we already knew the results of the quarterfinal, the Mandela version, that also predicted this final. So let's just quickly look at those, and this is the nice, powerful thing about this tool. We can just flip back and look at all these really quickly. So the very first one we did, the Southern Scorcher, it kind of got lucky because it predicted the Southern Hemisphere, South Africa and New Zealand, to dominate the pool stages, and that gave you the France, South Africa, New Zealand, Ireland quarterfinals, which was correctly predicted to be won by the Southern Hemisphere. But actually, these were upside down. QF2 was New Zealand, Ireland, and QF4 was France, South Africa. But it worked. Other than that, you got this Wales, Argentina, which was correct. And it had England here, but actually, England was actually playing Argentina. Was it Argentina? No, England was playing Fiji. So almost all of them correct, although kind of out of order. And then it predicted England to go out here, which was wrong, and Australia to come through. But it did predict this New Zealand, Argentina, and South Africa to win, and then gave us this. That was interesting. All right, let's have a look at Greg Friend's All Roads Lead to Romefontein. He did get this right. He got France and Ireland winning their pool stages, and I think that was a brave prediction. I don't think too many people predicted the Northern Hemisphere would dominate both pools. Normally one or the other. He got this England, Argentina right, and he just got this wrong. He only got the Australia wrong because, Australia did surprise everybody. But again, he got these quarterfinals correct. This one was wrong. This was England, Fiji, but this was, and this was Wales, Argentina. But he got that going through, New Zealand going through South Africa versus England, correct. And then Australia, he got wrong, but he got New Zealand winning that one. Version 23 then, the Southern Fight Back. And in this one, we knew that the quarterfinals, or we knew that the Northern Hemisphere were going to dominate these groups. But we thought, well, what if we have a big fight back with the Southern Hemisphere, which is what happened. But we did predict this game where England would lose to Fiji. And I think that was, quite an ambitious prediction. It didn't come to pass, although it was quite a close game. And in that case, South Africa would have played Fiji, and that was wrong. But this was correctly predicted and went through. So all of them have some small element of being correct, or some small element of being wrong, but in general being correct. Maybe the very first one, the Southern Scorcher, got a lot lucky because everything was upside down and then flowed after that. This one is the one we penned last week, and it predicted New Zealand, South Africa. It only had to predict this semi-final, which was easy, or not necessarily easy, but they got it correct. And now we got to predict this final. All right. Having seen how easy it was to predict, you can see it wasn't that easy to predict both of these teams in the final. Those that got it right, some of them got lucky, and others were actually quite insightful. Let's have a look now at who predicted a New Zealand win in total. So here, these predictions had New Zealand in the final. Some had New Zealand coming second, some first. So 4 of our 26 predictions have New Zealand winning, and only a third of the predictions that saw New Zealand in the final predicted New Zealand would win. On the other side of that coin, 7 predictions out of 26 predicted that South Africa would win, but 58% of those predictions believe that if South Africa is in the final, South Africa will win the final. Does that help us? I'm not so sure. Let's have a look at the head-to-heads. I think that should be interesting. And I think what's really surprised me about this World Cup is how much the past has been repeated. Ireland never having won a quarterfinal, lost in the quarterfinal. A lot of we looked at how the semi-finals have traditionally been dominated by the Southern Hemisphere, and they were dominated by the Southern Hemisphere. We saw how South Africa always beats England in the knockout stages, and we saw South Africa beat England again. So I think the history here is going to be really interesting. So let's have a look at New Zealand versus South Africa over all stages of the Rugby World Cup. They've played 5 times, and I mean, that's quite a lot when you consider that South Africa has only ever played France twice before. So they've met quite often, and currently the averages with New Zealand. So they've played 5 times, and New Zealand has won 3 of them by quite a big points difference. Although, if we eliminate this 2003 result, potentially most of these games have been fairly close. Okay, so that's the all stages. Now let's take it down a little bit to the knockout stages. So if we go just for the knockout stages, they've played 4 times, and New Zealand has won twice and lost twice. Again, the points difference now down to 15, but still contains this big result in 2003. And if we take that out, you can see that the results are really close. In the knockout stages, there's really nothing to separate these teams. Very close games. If we drill down a little bit further and say, well, what about in the final? What has happened? And we can see they've only met once before in 1995, and New Zealand lost that game by 3 points. The Joel Scransky drop goal in the final minutes, and Nelson Mandela then holding up the trophy and handing it to Francois Pienaar. So looking at all of this, what can it tell you? Well, really, all it can tell me is that this game is going to be very close. They've only ever played this fixture once before, and it was so close. Anybody could have won it. It was played in South Africa with South Africa's home crowd. So now in France, you know, who has the most support? Who do the French come out and support? Maybe New Zealand after South Africa beat France. Very often, if someone beats your team, then you want them to win because it kind of implies that your team was the second best. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite tough for South Africa, but I think it's so close that I don't see any reason to change our prediction from the last one we did, which is the Mandela version. I think that it's going to be really close, but South Africa potentially, with these tough games under their belt, this ability to win games by 1 point or 2 points and stuff like that, maybe that's enough to take them through in the final. And so I'm going to stick with the Mandela prediction. And that's it.